Start off, credit Tulane, really good football team. Credit to their coaching staff. Job well done by them. Just shared a message with our team. Really disappointed with our performance today. Certainly disappointed with the result. Difficult to win a game when you turn the ball over 5 times. At the same time, unwavering resolve in the fact that one game does not define us as a football team. This one just happens to be the first one and sting a lot, especially with a team that has built a great deal of confidence throughout the offseason and in a really challenging fall camp where we're excited about where this team is at. But the result doesn't define us. Preston Stone didn't play his best football game today, but said it boldly in that locker room. Believe in that guy. That's our quarterback. And the second I said it, the locker room echoed that. I mean, you got a locker room that believes in that guy, will ride with that guy. And, adversity's staring us right in the face after week 1. Great opportunity for us to respond on a short week. We're going to have to bounce back and get back to work tomorrow.
How do you assess Preston's performance?
Yeah, uncharacteristic. A lot of practices with Preston throughout all spring ball and summer. And, he's going to let it rip and fit it in some tight windows. But, I think his worst performance in fall camp had a couple interceptions in it. Just totally uncharacteristic. And it's going to be an opportunity for him to bounce back and rebound. He's mentally tough, physically tough. He'll respond well.
What did you see from your team?
It'll be interesting to go back and watch the tape. Defending their run game. I thought versus their downhill run can clean up some tackling issues. That the plays in the second quarter where the run game really started to balloon were a cue draw that ultimately, not downhill run game, can't allow an explosive play in a critical situation like that. And then last play of the second half, we're in our prevent defense, just making sure we're not giving up on a Hail Mary, quarterback scrambles for a big chunk. So, I don't know if the rushing yardage, the amount of rushing yards we gave up today is totally unacceptable by our standard. But it'll be interesting to go back and watch the film and really evaluate, where we're at from a line of scrimmage standpoint. And then offensively, I felt like at times we were in rhythm. We're running the ball. There's some RPO stuff going on. The passing game's clicking a little bit. And just when you feel like we're starting to click, we're turning the ball over. So, obviously frustrated with the results, frustrated with our performance on offense. But I think there's a lot to look at and evaluate and say, we got to put ourselves in situations where we're in a one-score game and have the lead and can truly commit to the run game and start to own the line of scrimmage and put ourselves in situations where, we can continue in rhythm on drives because with turning the ball over 5 times, there's few opportunities for that offense really to catch rhythm.
There was a run from 3rd and goal on the 7, and then also there was a situation where you end up declining a penalty to give Tulane a 41-yard field goal. After games like this, do you think your team needs to be more aggressive with some game management decisions earlier in these games?
Yeah. What I'll tell you right now, I think the decision to decline the penalty could go one of 2 ways. We know that if we push them outside that field goal range, they're potentially in 4-down territory. We got to stop in a situation, made the decision to let them kick a long field goal and not give them potentially 2 downs or, a defensive holding, defensive PI, something crazy happens and prolongs the drive. The 3rd and 7, I believe you're referring to was first half where we run the ball. 3rd and goal. Yep. And not to give too much information out here, Matt, but we've made a very conscious decision this offseason of being very strategically aggressive on scoring touchdowns. I think that run play is called in a situation where we're going to get Tulane in a pass defense where we can pop a run, potentially to pop one for a score, or if we get it into a certain distance we feel comfortable going for it on 4th down. A willingness to do that. In that case, I believe it was 7-0 at that time, decided to kick a field goal. But there's no doubt with the ability and potential that we have on offense to operate more efficiently and more explosively, we do have to find some strategic opportunities to be aggressive. And if we're going to talk about scoring touchdowns in the red zone, our strategy needs to be in alignment with that.
Fitzgerald led the team with 13 tackles today. What did you see from him?
He's just a warrior. One of the most consistent guys I've ever coached, one of the toughest guys I've ever coached, one of the best leaders. Didn't get voted team captain this year, but was very much in the running as a guy that still has 2 years left. I think his play, his demeanor, play, his consistency are things that continue to show up. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if you want one of your safeties having 13 tackles, but at the end of the day, Fitz is someone we're going to lean on a ton. Really his first year consistently starting at that boundary safety position. Excited for what's ahead for him.
Coach, David Walters was listed as out on the injury report today. Can you shed a little more light about how long he might be out for or what that injury is?
Yeah, really bummed out. I mean, he was up for practice this week and unfortunately had a little bit of a setback. We'll know more, probably mid next week in terms of what that looks like. But hoping to get him back here as soon as possible, whether that's in the next week or the next few weeks, time will tell.
Anything else for Coach? I also wanted to ask, how do you assess Anto's stock this program?
Yeah, be honest with you, Matt, I'm not watching him alone specifically when we're on defense, but opportunity to go back and evaluate. Saw some good pressures out of him. He was flying around. There was an outside play into the boundary where he sticks a foot in the ground, comes screaming down the line of scrimmage, puts a big hit. Love the effort that he played with, and ultimately we're going to be leaning on Anto all year long to be extremely disruptive.
I mean, I don't know, we lost, so I'm not really worried about my individual performance, just wins and losses. So got to get back to work next week.
For camp today, what kind of like a running back committee, 9 for Caleb, 8 for Joe, 6 for you? Is that kind of what you expected coming into today?
Yeah, that's kind of been the plan all of camp. You know what I mean? We really trust in our backfield. We trust in our guys, and we trust that anybody that goes out there is going to end up making plays. So, that's been our main focus, and we're going to keep going.
The team struggled with turnovers today. As one of the leaders on the team, how do you work to make sure the team stays in it and stays in the lead?
I mean, obviously we can't have turnovers, and we've preached that from the beginning. But we're completely behind, our leaders in the offense. You know what I mean? We know that that's not our standard. We're gonna get right back to work and work through, and watch the tape and just improve on today.
Cam, what did you see out of your offensive line today?
I love those guys. They work their butts off, but at the end of the day, our whole team, didn't, come to play the way that we needed to. So we're going to watch the film and get right back to work.
Braun, defense had a tough first half. We won the second half. We allowed 50 points. What do you feel was the shift between the two then?
I think we just kind of settled down in the second half and, played our style of football. Didn't miss as many tackles. And I think it was good to show that we're a resilient defense, and we started to bow up there in the second half. So I was proud of that, but got to get back to work.
Anything else? Yeah, Matt. For as a six-year player in this team, this is definitely not how you want to start the season.
Right.
How do you help rally the team back? Do you feel there's a path for this team to be competitive going forward this year?
I think Coach Braun hit it right on the head. We got a short week this week, and we're literally going right back to work. We're going to go to sleep, and when we wake up, we're right back in the facility watching today's film and moving on to Western Illinois. So that's our main focus, and we're excited for our next opponent.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.